I wanted to know if there was a way to turn my latest film ideas into a living on YouTube. Is it a financial black hole to make a stop motion film in the mid-2020s? Is anybody surviving at this? In this video, I'll break down what the top stop motion creators are doing to successfully make a living. In part 1, I'll reveal the 4 top things viewers want most. In part 2, I will go into tips on how you can borrow from what works for your own channel. And then stick around for part 3 and you will see how much money creators are actually making. Before we get into the top 4 viewer patterns, let's listen to this revealing short interview segment with the wildly popular YouTuber Lee Hardcastle and host Tony Alarco.
Actually didn't start to commit to YouTube as a source of possible viable income till about 2010. And by that point, I got the idea to do that because I was seeing other YouTubers achieving success. And these were YouTubers that I was seeing within 4 years go from doing comedy sketches on the web cameras to all of a sudden living in mansions and with a gazillion subscribers. And I just go, wow, well, they've clearly got success because, you know, they're in a house full of arcade machines and you know, that becomes evident. So you just think, well, I just thought, well, I'll look at these guys, the people that are successful, and I just studied what they were doing. I was basically just trying to copy the successful people and trying to fit that mold into what I was capable of doing.
What this reveals is that Lee was not successful because of luck, but because he dug in and studied what already worked. He realized he had to make content a typical viewer craved, then knew success would follow. How do we find the top viewer patterns that Lee discovered? First, search YouTube for the term stop motion, then sort the results by view count. Then we can click any of those channels, click on the videos link, then filter the results by popular. From there we can find the patterns that work across YouTube to learn what stop motion fans love to watch, then make similar videos that will immediately grab their attention. The first audience pattern I recognized was the use of pop culture. It seems that many top creators have always used it to their advantage. Let's take a look at some of the channels to see how it has been used and what the view counts are on those videos. Animist has 2.5 million subscribers. Their top video is of the famous video game character Kirby with over 7.8 million views. Justin Rash Animation has 558,000 subscribers and his top shorts show his Pinocchio, Ghostbusters, and Willy Wonka animations and time-lapse videos. Brick Filmer Stop Motion King has 1.1 million subscribers. His top video featuring Batman ranks in 435 million views. His other videos also bring in millions of hits and feature Spider-Man, Elsa, Hulk, and the Joker. Panta Hat has 941,000 subscribers. Their most popular video has Batman in the thumbnail and of course is animated. It ranks in with 5.3 million views. This works in hand-drawn animation as well, such as the Meat Canyon channel. It has over 1 billion total video views and relies heavily on pop culture references. You'll find everything from fast food mascots, TV celebrities, YouTube culture, famous cartoon characters, and very trendy topics. I really can't stress the use of pop culture enough. It goes way deeper than what YouTube creators are doing as well. Phil Knight, who owns the Nike shoe company, financed all of Leica Studios using pop culture too. You might ask how, and it was because he incorporated famous athletes in his advertisements. It made him one of the most successful shoe salesmen in the world, and he in turn put that money into the industry. So yeah, the famous movie Coraline was actually paid for by selling shoes. Crazy, right?
You sure it's not the shoes?
I'm sure, Mars.
What about the shoes?
No, Mars.
Next up on our list is Be Extreme. Videos that had the most extreme, violent, lewd, or shocking content top most other stop-motion videos on average. This is true across all of online animation. Take a look at this content farm, Gummy Durrani. They put out a couple of videos every single day and stick to the Be Extreme formula. Not that anyone in stop motion would actually stoop to such levels, right?
Hi, stranger. It's been a while. I've missed you.
Okay, you had to admit it's funny. We can see clearly that there's a ratio of 1 butt to every 5.3 million views. I think it's fair to say that Kirsten and others have cracked the code of success.
Hi, stranger.
If we're going to be extreme, what about violence? You might think this video is yet another Lee Hardcastle short, but it's actually Joe Blandamer Claymations. You can see how being extreme landed him a mere 2.9 million views. If we examine brick culture, we can see that the videos he posted with the most violent and gory thumbnails have way more views than his other videos. Chainsaw Made by Takina has 9 million views. This film is one that we'll talk about a little bit later, but you can again see how violence translates into hits. Trent Shy also has millions of views for his very gory shorts, as you can see here. I ran across this video by Pantsahat and noticed that there was a spike in the timeline. A lot of people were watching this part of the video. What could it be?
Help! Master! I'm stuck in the washing machine!
Bruh, opportunities have arisen.
Yep, being extremely lewd gets you a lot of hits. Here's one by Moonshine Animations.
I would love to get my face in there and just go.
Moonshine Animations has almost 500,000 subscribers and takes shock to new levels, as you can see in this next video.
I wish to know what the slain call you as they die.
They call me Licking Lolly.
I'm not saying that name.
I think the most shocking thing is that YouTube let this video stay up. Finally, Brick Rising created this video about a character that just couldn't hold it in. 5 million views can buy a lot of toilet paper. You might be asking, are all the top channels based on adult humor? Not entirely. This Vietnamese content farm called Woa Luca Channel makes wholesome kids videos. Even if they are simple, they do great work and attained over 1 billion total views. Content farms hired teams of animators to create varieties of animated content across different channels. Woa Luca uses Lego figures, clay, and even hand-drawn shorts. Each of those channels also has millions to billions of views. Kid E-Tales has over 890 million total views and 1.27 million subscribers. They make wholesome kid videos relying on simplicity for the sake of fast turnout and pop culture thrown in. Their top stop-motion video features Peppa Pig.
George is crying as Peppa comes down from the slide.
Okay.
Peppa says,
Stop crying, George. You can try the slide now.
Funny stop-motion videos has over 4 billion total views. If you want to target kids, YouTube limits what you can do. You can't pitch merch directly to kids, and kids obviously can't support your efforts with Patreon. So being wholesome can be lucrative, but it might earn much less than making adult animations. What is the final thing people want? People love to learn. Tutorials are a great way to grow your audience. Here's my most popular video on this channel from over 17 years ago. I wonder how many people made armatures after watching it. As much as I'd like to toot my own channel's tutorials, Edu Puertas is one of the best. He teaches the fundamental animation basics to puppet making, camera work, and high-tech topics. His high production values make his videos extremely fun to watch. With nearly 15 million total video views, he doesn't get the same numbers as other channels. To make up for it, he monetizes the sale of his very own armatures. He also offers his own talents as a service. But audiences like most on YouTube has also worked on television and in cinema since the start. Robot Chicken tops the list, and the show was conceptually preceded by Twisted Toy Fair Theater, a comic strip in Toy Fair magazine. The TV show uses parody in every possible way. Stupid Buddy Studios also uses modified toy figures to cut costs in time and animation. Robot Chicken has so far gone on for 11 seasons and has been nominated or won tons of awards. That says a lot about what resonates with audiences, and how the same techniques translate to online entertainment as well. MTV's Celebrity Deathmatch went on for 4 seasons, using parodies, cameo appearances, and violence. Nearly the same formula that Robot Chicken uses. Further back in time, Mad TV made a parody of Rankin and Bass TV specials called Rudolph Rampage, which was really popular at the time too. Violence and stop motion have always gone hand in hand. The first giant monster fights in cinema were done by Willis O'Brien, and audiences have loved them ever since. Harryhausen, Tippett, and others followed in O'Brien's footsteps. Audiences would buy tickets just to see what they created because it was so engaging and fun to watch. Here are some of the most well-known examples. On the wholesome front, we have characters from Worf and Gumby. Peter Lord, David Sproxton, and Art Clokey all pioneered the methods of making kids content as efficient as possible. They use basic backgrounds and props, plus they use simple puppets that can be easily sculpted or cast. Few colors were used, and the camera was mostly static to save time. This is what is done by successful content farms and individuals on YouTube today. Now we know who the audience is and what they want. As a filmmaker, you will need to ask if you want to imitate what has worked since the dawn of stop motion. For example, integrating pop culture almost always works, even where you might not expect it to, such as tutorials. Remember Edu's awesome tutorials we talked about earlier? His very top video references Back to the Future. Efficiency is key to making films often. If you make a series, create sets you can reuse to save time. If your story has lots of different locations, low-quality stylized sets are a must for long-term success. Who can forget Knox's Corner with his very simple blue clayman? If Robert Benford made his puppets more complicated, he wouldn't have been able to make so many films.
Spider-Man, 'cause I am Spider-Man. He's been doing this all day. Can I play?
Making a series of stories with characters people look forward to is a big plus. Panther Hat does this, and people love to see what their favorite characters will do in the next episodes. But story isn't everything. EGM's monster fights have no story and are pure action. They still get tons of views, and I kinda wonder if maybe EGM is Willis O'Brien reincarnated. Editing together shots from 1 to 6 seconds long holds the viewer's attention best. That's why the train sequence in the wrong trousers is memorable to most people. Stupid Buddy also uses this technique in their Robot Chicken show, as well as most top YouTubers. The algorithm rewards creators for holding the attention of viewers by sending them even more viewers. So make those shots as short as you can. When utilizing pop culture in your projects, put at least one pop culture keyword into your titles. Panther Hat wrote in common food, chain stores, movies, and even Uber into his titles. The animist likes to use anime and game characters for added views. And it works. Thumbnails reveal what your audience wants. Take a look at the Toys and Funny Kids video page. In the bottom row, the clay figures in the thumbnails had the most views. On the following rows, the same thing happens. Eventually you can see the pattern emerge, which this creator took advantage of. After they saw what worked, they switched to using clay figures in all their thumbnails. Let's look at my new YouTube channel and see what's working so far. Once I'm ready to release my first shorts, I will definitely put pictures of Jen's face reacting in the thumbnails. Shorts grow subscribers faster than long-form videos, but they don't earn much money. Train the algorithm that your video is engaging by stacking 2 videos on top of one another. Viewers watch twice, and YouTube will send you more viewers for holding their attention. Don't forget to take advantage of hashtags by adding a few relevant keywords. Justin Rash got a job with Mattel to make a toy commercial after they saw how popular his shorts became. So even though you don't earn a lot of money with shorts, you might get offered paid work.
After I watched the first He-Man video, I was just amazed and so happy to have them involved with our brand.
When it comes to crowdfunding, Kickstarter or Indiegogo are really good if you want one big lump sum of money. From a financial strategy standpoint, there's one big negative to these services. Once someone supports you with their donation, you have to start over finding a new batch of supporters for every new project. Patreon and Ko-fi are 2 ways to earn money long term, but they take more time to build. In all my research, Patreon seems to be the most widely used by supporters of stop motion channels. So you want to know how much stop motion YouTubers are making? Here's what YouTube and other companies pay per 1,000 views. It's impossible to really know exactly how much the following channels make, but we can make a very good educated guess. I chose a $3.50 payout for every 1,000 views since most stop motion videos are around 3 to 5 minutes long. I also accounted for Patreon's cut in my calculations. First up is Moonshine. His Patreon account actually shows his monthly earnings. He currently has 192,000 views for the videos he posted over the last 30 days. He conservatively made $2,000 from this month's videos alone. Since 2011, his total earnings are about $157,000. Good thing YouTube has a pause button. Panther Hat flashes their Patreon supporters in the last frame of their film to trick the algorithm.
God, I was bought by a bunch of incels!
I counted up each of the different memberships to come up with the smallest and highest amount the different tiers could earn. Then I counted the hits for the last month's uploads. They earned somewhere between $2,300 and $3,400 in 30 days. They made close to $390,000 since 2009. Did your parents ever tell you that it was silly to play with toys? EGM made $4,800 from this month's uploads and over $700,000 since 2017. Lee is sporadic in his videos over the past year. This month's past video uploads earned about $857, but since 2006 he has made over a cool $1 million. Woa Luca channel has 362,000 views from the videos they uploaded the past month, earning about $1,300. Calculating all of their views since 2016 shows they made nearly $4 million. Pez was viral on YouTube many years back and still makes new videos. His most popular video is called Fresh Guacamole, and 480 million people have watched it. That one video has earned him $1.6 million or $152,000 a year. Or if we add up all his views, his channel has earned almost $5 million since 2007. Are you afraid that making wholesome videos is bad for business? In our latest example, we have the content farm called Toys and Funny Kids. They have over 3 billion views and are the current kings of clan animation. They have earned over $10.5 million or $959,000 every year average since 2013. Now that you know some of the ways to financial success in animation, imagine you made it to the top. What is it like creating animation using formulas for the sake of stats and money? What happens if all animators do this? Here's a clip by the very respected creator SaberSpark, who has a great channel by the same name. He covers much of the animation industry both online and off, and sums things up in this video called YouTube Has a Brain Rot Problem.
With every passing generation, there's been an acceleration of the brain rot. And I feel like quantifying it, what makes it, it is content that has no substance to it. It's all sizzle, no substance. There's nothing educational. There's nothing of good intent. There's no good characters. Typically, it's low quality, minimal effort, and high turnover. That, to me, is brain rot content. And in this day and age where there are millions upon millions of people uploading content, it is, again, a race to the bottom to be the loudest in this sea of voices. Well, everyone's jingling their keys for attention, so how do I jingle my keys louder? Well, I know, oversaturated visuals and thumbnails, all caps, pandering to trendy properties like FNAF and Poppy's Playtime and Digital Circus. We'll do whatever it takes to scream above the masses of people so our voice is louder than theirs.
I agree with him completely, and I believe anyone creating to be the loudest hasn't really thought of the consequences to themselves and others. Meat Canyon uses all the attention-getting formulas I revealed and admits that it made him very unhappy. Listen to what he says in this video called Goodbye for Now.
I just think I can do better, honestly. I think that, like, everything that I'm making now is in service to something negative. And by that, I mean uploading things every 2 weeks is all good and fun, but I feel like I'm doing it to try to get as many subscribers as I can, to try to make as much money as I can, you know, to keep this business floating up. I have this, like, weird fascination that I have to, you know, upload all the time and do all these things to be a part of the creator zeitgeist or culture. Maybe that's how I'll get respect from my peers and everything like that. It just sucks, honestly. It's fucking terrible. If I'm gonna be completely transparent, I have not been very happy making any of these videos for a long time. You know, I've done so much on this channel already. I've had the viral videos, you know, I've gained all the bunch of subs, all that kind of stuff. You get all the views and everything, and then you kind of find out that, oh shit, that doesn't translate to fulfillment. It doesn't translate to respect. It doesn't translate to the overarching goal of what I'm trying to do. You find out very quickly that just because you get all these things, it really doesn't translate to, you know, great positives that you thought. So instead of chasing those now, I'd like to just be, I guess, take that more genuine approach of wanting to make something just because I think it's awesome.
It's good to learn from people like Canyon so that we can avoid the same pitfalls. The #1 YouTube animation channel called Cocomelon formulates their animation so perfectly that they achieved over 190 billion views. The formulas that they deploy make their animation as sticky as humanly possible. It is reported that kids watch them for so many hours a day that it literally slows their mental development. While parents are partially to blame, the New York Times revealed that Moonbug has a dedicated special room to test the attention span of children watching their animations. They then hone their films so that kids are unable to turn away. It's become an addiction for millions of them. I won't go into all the details, but it's psychological manipulation exploiting busy parents with kids for money. We all want to turn our animation into financial success, but should we do it at the expense of harming others? Listen to this next part of the interview with Lee Hardcastle.
I went onto YouTube and I tried to search for, well, I searched for other plasticine violence, anything similar. Has anyone ever done anything like that? And that's when I come across this video by a guy called Takina. called Chainsaw Maid.
Yes.
And by this point, I remember by this point that I'd had about 4 million views, you know. So I seen this video and I go, wow, okay, somebody's already done something like this. And I tried to think like what was so good about that? Like what did people like about that? And then when I thought about it, I thought, well, would it be a bad thing if I did a sequel to that? What if I made a fan sequel, an unofficial sequel? I mean, I didn't ask for any permission or anything. I just said, okay,
Let's do it.
I'm gonna make Chainsaw Maid 2. I know it's ridiculous, and I feel weird when I tell this story because it just feels wrong. But that's the story, and I did it, and I made it, and I put it on YouTube, and yeah.
Sometimes the ends just don't justify the means. Stealing from your fellow animators when it's so hard to make money in this field is really not cool. What if Takina wanted to make Chainsaw Maid 2 with their own characters? Audiences might get confused and think that Takina was stealing from Lee when it actually isn't the case. I think it's really important never to forget what inspired you to get into stop motion in the first place. For me, it was a creative process. It was solving problems and learning the craft, as well as coming up with stories and imagining situations my characters might become part of. Fame and money is helpful, necessary even, but it wasn't why I wanted to make films. Find a balance and make sure you don't fall into the same trap, only shaping your content specifically to get attention. But Mark, you might ask, is it all really a race to the bottom? Not at all. So in my final tip for this video, check out the Guildies channel by Alexander Unger. He showcases some of the most smoothly animated and perfectly sculpted frames on the internet today. His shorts are so well made that his channel earned 2.47 million subscribers and nearly 900 million views. His channel doesn't rely on attention-grabbing formulas, stealing from others, or manipulative tricks. The final lesson everybody needs to know is if you want to succeed, make quality content.